9. Now, there was a very, very special celebration at Chelmsford Cathedral just yesterday afternoon, a celebration of all lay ministry in the Diocese of Chelmsford and a celebration of 5 new licensed lay ministers who began this new path of their journey. Yesterday at this celebration, we're going to speak now to one of those famous 5. It is Chris Rose from St Luke's in Cranham Park. Morning to you, Chris.
Good morning.
Well, many congratulations, Chris, on yesterday. You are now a brand new licensed lay minister. How was yesterday?
It was amazing. It was a really lovely service. I have to be honest. I was nervous,
Were
and
you?
I don't think I would. Yes, I wasn't alone. As you said, there were 5 of us, and we were all quite nervous. But Bishop Lynn was amazing, and the presence of God was there. The atmosphere. It was a fantastic service.
So it was a celebration of all that you've achieved so far and all that you're looking forward to. What does a licensed lay minister do? What is your role now, Chris?
Well, it can be very broad. It's to work alongside other lay ministers and ordained ministers, and it can take various shapes and forms. It can involve leading services, preaching, teaching, pastoral work, chaplaincy. So it's different for people. So one of the licensed lay ministers yesterday feels a really strong calling to pastoral work. My calling is mainly teaching and preaching, um, but as I say, it's a very broad ministry.
And that ministry was celebrated yesterday because as well as the 5 of you becoming licensed lay ministers, this was a celebration of everything that lay ministry brings to the Diocese of Chelmsford.
Yes, that's right. There were some pastoral assistants there who were also authorised by the bishop, and so it was very much a service of lay ministry.
Why did you decide to become a licensed lay minister, Chris?
Well, some years ago, I felt God calling me to serve Him differently. I've worked in adult education all of my career, and for the last few years, I've been working as a national trainer in diversity in colleges and universities. But I increasingly felt God calling me to serve Him differently, and to cut a long story short, after a period of reflection and discernment, and quite a few signs along the way, um, 3 years ago, I started my journey of training and formation as a licensed lay minister at St Mellitus College. And that's based at Chelmsford Cathedral, and the training's overseen by Durham University.
And what did you have to do?
It was a lot of work, I'll have
Yeah.
to be honest with you. um, so and it is a commitment. There's a lot of continuous reading, there's lecture preparations, there's a placement, research project, lots of lectures, and the lecturers at St Mellitus are amazing, and many assignments as well. So there's a lot of hard work and a lot of commitment, but it's been an amazing experience.
Did you ever waver, Chris? You said there was a lot to do. Did you ever sometimes think, what have I done?
There, there were some ups and downs, but the really great thing is that you're not training alone. So, as I say, as you mentioned, there were 5 of us being licensed yesterday, 5 of us on the training, and indeed it was much broader than that because um, as licensed lay ministers, we train with the ministers who are going to be ordained. So there were about 25 of us. So fortunately, we didn't all plummet at the same time. So we could help one another and support one another. And so when I was up, somebody else was down, and vice versa.
So you had each other as that kind of
We
network to keep moving forward.
absolutely, absolutely, and we want to continue with that. We've formed some strong relationships, and we see that they will continue as we go forward.
As you've mentioned, it's a very wide-ranging role, and there's all kinds of paths opening up before you. You want to focus on teaching and preaching, but where will your lay ministry take you first of all?
It will mainly take me in my own church. I have already some roles on leading services and preaching. Recently, my PCC asked me to take on the lead role for home group ministry in the church. So there are a number of roles and jobs to do within my church, as I say, working in collaboration with others. I'd like to continue some chaplaincy. One of my placements was at Queen's Hospital as I joined that chaplaincy team. The placement is intended to be outside of your comfort zone, and I really was. But it was something that I felt God was calling me as an opportunity to serve the community. So I'd like to take that up again now that I have finished training.
And now that you've finished your training and you're taking this step into a kind of a new chapter of your ministry, what's your focus, your inspiration?
Uh, well, it's knowing that God is walking alongside me, um, and that's, to be honest, that's always been my experience, and certainly the last 3 years of training and formation at St Mellitus. My focus and my inspiration really is just knowing that God walks before me, beside me, and behind me. Um, I cling on to Him when things are tough, and I rejoice when things are great.
And what would you say to anyone who's considering entering the lay ministry and has heard 3 years of assignments, 3 years of learning? Is this the role for me? What would your advice be?
My advice would be, first of all, to pray hard. You really do need a sense from God that this is what God is calling you to do. But when that calling doesn't come in isolation. People are in church families, so I would talk to your church family. I'd certainly talk to your vicar, talk to some of the associate ministers at your church if you have some. Um, that's the first port of call. Talk that through, see what they feel, and then start a journey of discernment with God and with the people who are in ministry in your church. They'll point you in the right directions of where to go and what to do.
Well, we wish you well, Chris, as you begin your licensed lay ministry. Thank you very much for joining us on BBC Essex this morning. That's Chris Rose, brand new licensed lay minister from St Luke's in Cranham Park, a brand new licensed lay minister in the Diocese of Chelmsford. Congratulations to Chris. Congratulations to all 5 licensed lay ministers who began their ministry at that special celebration yesterday at Chelmsford Cathedral.